Changing the tool can dramatically alter the cutting conditions being calculated by the technology wizard. After selecting a tool or altering the current tool with a different diameter, a dialog will appear asking to recalculate some values in the dialog. It is recommended to click Yes. Later, when discussing individual parameters, we will go over the values that are calculated based on the tool diameter in the dialog. Changing the diameter will have an effect on all output cutting data. It may also have an effect on the depth output grid. Changing the cutting length also can have an effect on the depth output grid. Changing the number of flutes will have an effect on the feed rate being output and possibly the cut depths in automatic mode. Changing the tool material will affect the cutting speed calculated and the associated spin and feed rate. Changing the default milling level will affect the output cutting data by moving the slider to the machining level associated to the tool. Changing the helix angle could affect the depths calculated if using automatic mode. It will alter the ACP value and possibly the color, regardless of the calculation method. Whenever selecting or reselecting a tool, all wizard overrides will be reset. Associated material, tool material, machining level, slider position, and any overrides in the technology wizard will be cleared. Changing the upper or lower values will have an effect on all the output cutting data, unless the step over is at its maximum already. The reason changing the pocket depth affects all output cutting data is because the step over is calculated based on the depth of cut. Spindle speed and feed rate are synchronized based on the step over. Also, altering the pocket depth will change the depth output grid, since the total depth has changed. To select a different machine database, or change the values in the current database, we must go to the CAM part definition. To select a different machine database, this can be done by using the pull down. The Wizard Sync dialog will appear the next time you edit the operation. It will ask you to simply verify the changes by clicking Next. The dialog will prompt whether to set the wizard on or off. This time we will select On. To modify the current database, click Edit IM Databases. From this dialog, the machine database can be modified. Whatever database you have selected when clicking OK will become the CAM part default. If you do not want any output cutting data to be written to the operation, turn the wizard off. The wizard will still calculate any new output cutting data, but the spin rate, feed rate, step over, and cutting angle will stay unchanged in the dialog. Simply turning the wizard back on will sync the output cutting data to the dialog. Selecting Turn Wizard On will calculate new cutting conditions and write the data into the dialog. All wizard cutting conditions will go back to default when going through the sync process. Selecting a different material database can be done 3 ways: changing the database in the CAM part settings, changing the database in the tool table that is associated to the tool, or changing the database in the operation. Changing the material database in the tool table is good for machining a fixture of a different material than the part. The tool can be associated with the material database, and every time selected provides cutting conditions for that material. Changing the material database in the operation is a fast way of machining different materials on a per operation case. Changing the default material database in the CAM settings will prompt the sync dialog to appear per operation when editing the operation. All overrides in the wizard will be reset when going through the sync process. Once again, the sync dialog will prompt whether to set the wizard on or off. Using the Edit IM Database button, databases can be edited. Modifying a material database that is being used will bring up the wizard sync dialog for that operation that is associated with the material, either by tool or operation.